Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So for this week, I want to go over an interesting forum discussion that I found on Reddit, which talks about common first-time home buyer mistakes. Now, looking at these kind of tips, I don't think it just applies to first-time home buyer. I think anyone that is buying a property today or in the future should go through this to make sure they don't make these mistakes. Because for sure, I made some of these when I purchased my properties before. Now, sorry for this, and probably the next couple of weeks, the video is likely not going to have any visual. It's just going to be audio with some pictures on the screen. The reason why is because the house I'm staying in is extremely hot and I don't want to dress up and film everything. I'll be sweating 2 minutes in. So for now, it will be in this format. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Also join our free private Facebook group where we have close to 5,000 members. Alright, without further ado, let's jump into today's video. So, mistake number 1 would be getting sucked in by decor and staging. Look at the bones, the room size, build quality, layout, and the structural stuff. Get an inspection done. Paint is cheap. Absolutely agree with this. This is why I prefer not to have the place furnished when I walk in and check out the house. I think those are extremely distracting. I just want to look at the property itself. And also for the inspection part, this is also true for pre-sale. Now, some people might be thinking this is newly constructed, everything is brand new, why do I need to have an inspection done? And the reason why is because sometimes developer cut corners. So this other user commented below that, hey, oh yeah, I had a friend in Toronto who worked on a team in a luxury condo whose whole job was fixing stuff that was already breaking on the lower floors while they finished the rest. That's how crappy the build was. So definitely, it doesn't matter how reputable the builder is, I would say get an inspector and inspect the property. I didn't do it when I closed on my Surrey pre-sale. There were some issues, but luckily it wasn't big enough that it cost me a lot of money. For the upcoming one that I'm completing around Metro Town, I'm definitely going to get an inspector and do the whole inspection. Now, as for a house, to add, check the foundations, cracks, and also water leaks. Are there any signs of mold? Make sure faucets are working properly when you turn them on, and also check septic tank if your house runs on one. I had a client where they bought a property, they realized septic tank needed fixing. At the end, I think it costed them an extra $75,000. Now, luckily, they were very cash flow strong, so they had that to pay for that. But imagine you spend all your budget on a house already, you come in and realize you have to spend another 75 to 100K on top. It's going to be very, very stressful. Now, mistake number 2 is taking out a max mortgage. There's also something I make sure my client understands, because the bank will always tell you what you can qualify, but not what you can afford. I almost never have seen a client able to sustain their lifestyle or cash flow at a maxed out mortgage. Because the way they lend you money is using something called TDSR or GDSR, which is looking at how much debt payment you have to pay versus your income per month. It usually caps you at 32% and 40%, depending on which formula you're using, of your gross income. But we don't spend on our gross income, we spend on our net income. This roughly translates to about 50% of your net income if you take out to the max. This is also why whenever my clients is even thinking about buying a property, I have them go through a budgeting scenario with me together. People get really surprised once I add in all the extra housing costs and they realize what is the actual monthly outflow. So here, no matter if you're buying the first or your fifth house, always do a budgeting very detailed before you decide to take out a max mortgage, because this can really pinch your cash flow. Now, mistake number 3 is not checking for rando in some provinces. This is a very interesting point that I didn't even know existed until now. Depending on your province, you may want to check if it's a radioactive gas that forms naturally, but can cause cancer. It's not something you can detect with your senses. In Ontario, and I would imagine BC, probably not a big issue. But in some of the provinces like New Brunswick, which have a high level, you may want to test for that. You can test with an inspection or with a kit. It also does not cost that much according to the person that posted this comment. Now, mistake number 4 is forgetting to sniff and poke. A funny smell in-house usually can be a hint that a mold is forming. Mold usually have a pretty distinct smell, It smells musty or earthy and may even smell like rotten vegetables. Lots of people just enter a property and get attracted by things like, oh, how bright the window is, how nice this hallway looks, and they just kind of ignore the funny smell that they're smelling at that moment. They just think it's probably the furniture's being too old or the wall just need a fresh coat of paint, and it's going to go away once the seller move out and you move in. Don't ignore those funny smell. They could be a sign of serious issue that can cost you a lot of money. Another thing that you want to check for sure is to look at cupboards, cabinets, and also under the sink for pests. If you find any roach or rat poo, especially in kitchen or washroom, this can be an ongoing and a very serious infestation problem, which can not only cost you a lot of money, but lots of stress and also may damage your health. Now, moving on, fifth mistake to make is forgetting to check the age of appliances. This one is really big and also something I didn't do when I purchased my very first home, which is something I definitely should have done. So here, not only you want to obviously check whether it works or not, but also look at the age of the appliance, the serial number, and also the make and the model, so you know if it has warranty existing or what is the cost of a replacement should something happen. And also, for water heater, AC, and furnace, check if it is on rental, especially in Ontario, this is very common according to my clients, and how much the contract is. These things can be hidden from when you purchase and be very expensive mistakes to make, so make sure you check them out. The sixth mistake is forgetting to check temperature and water. This is actually a very interesting comment. This person says at first his realtor thought he was crazy, but later says he's a genius for taking a digital temperature gun with those kind of laser pointer and then pointing it at the corners of wall and ceilings and also around windows to see if there is difference in temperature. This can help check if a house is airtight for temperature comfort, and if it's not airtight, it can also cost you a lot of money to do renovation afterwards. Also, he says he checked the water pressure at every faucet and then take a drink to see if it tastes funny. Now, on this note, I probably won't drink the water personally, but yeah, old houses with deteriorating pipes are going to ruin your purchase and cost you tons of money. Actually, even if you're willing to afford it, I don't think it's something you can fix. Now, while we're talking about water, the next mistake would be forgetting to check for humidity. Water can eat slowly at structure of a house, even if it is made of steel and concrete. Ideally, a house is on top of a house, has a functioning roof, French drain, keeps the water from coming inside and lets vapor go outside. However, if there is stagnant water instead, either because of topography or the wall structure are compromised, then dampness builds up until wood, steel, wall, floor slowly rots away. Even if you repair, and by the way, it's going to cost you a lot of money, there's no guarantee that the remaining structure is as solid as it should be. Be cautious if a house feels and smells damp. If you suspect something, use a wall humidity sensor and check roof structure. Now, second last mistake is forgetting the outside. This is something very common, but people usually are overly focused on the house itself and forgetting there are things such as fences, shed, garage around the house. While they may not be the key buying decision or they may not matter as much as the house itself, it can cost you a ton of money if you have to remove or fix them because of poor condition. Now, according to the comment, the final mistake would be buying a former rental or flipper's house. Now, this person's reason is that a rental can be full of DIY fixes which can be very, ineffective, while flippers usually do very crap work in order to flip the property very quickly. So you can check the sale history to see how fast a property changes hand previously. If it changes hand within 1 year, that could be a sign of a flipper. So this kind of circles back to the very first point. Don't get sucked in by beautiful decor or a fresh coat of paint. Really check the history of the house. If it changes hand very quickly and looks like a renovation has just been done, ask for pictures of renovation progress and see how these kind of work are being done. If people are unwilling or unable to give you pictures of the progress, then probably just assume that the work is crap and there is tons of problem behind the walls. Alright, so that's everything for today's video. If you like what I'm saying today, make sure you hit the like button once. If you don't like them, hit the dislike button twice. Next, tell me what you think and what are some of the mistakes that you see people make when they buy their first or the fifth home. Let me know in the comment down below. And as always, if you like these kind of videos, I do upload them 8:30 EST every Tuesday. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. click the bell button to get all the notifications in the future. Alright, this is Jacky. I hope you found this interesting. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!